Alrighty. And all right, hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. My name is Addagro. I am a music producer, hip hop music producer, and today I will be going through making a beat in Reason 11. My main DAW of choice is Reason, so if you guys are new to Reason or are just getting started with anything, I hope that this is a good jumping off point. Um, Once again, my name is Addagro, and as always, as I like to start any of these streams, I'm starting this off with a blank template that I already have loaded here. If you can see here, I have some of my instruments here. So I have my Kong drum machine, my Dr. Octorex looper, or I guess you could also call it a sampler. Um, my two Europa synthesizers, one that will use as a bass synth, and the other one as a rhythmic synth lead. Typically that's my way of going about it. I have a few effects loaded. I have the Animus Shimmer Verb, Anil BBD Chorus Ensemble, and the Steer Pike BBD Delay. I also have the Echo, Synapse Fat Space, a Buffray, and a Decimort Bit Crusher. I also have like this filter, but I'm probably not going to use that at all. Actually, some of these I won't use. And these are my send to effects that I have set up. So they're all going into one of the effects slots, one of the FX sends and returns, um, onto my master selection. And I also have it set up where on my master selection, it's not going directly out to the audio. It's actually going into a couple of other combinators before going out to the main signal. So I have it one going through an EQ. This is what I use for like at the end when I'm trying to master my session. And I'm also have a maximizer and a saturator knob, saturation knob. Um, and these are only used at the towards the end, just so I can like give the audio just a bit more volume, or give the low end a bit more kick. Um, and as always, like most of these are initialized, so nothing is actually preloaded on them. The only one that only has something preloaded on is the Kong redrum machine. Just because it's just easier for me to work that way. Just because also it's the same kit that I've used for a lot of my stuff, so I tend to keep it the same. It just kind of eliminates some of the headache of like trying to find a sample that you like and whatnot. Um, and this is all connected through my MIDI keyboard that I have set up over here. I'm probably not gonna play a whole lot of live stuff on it just because the way I have it set up for audio right now, it's set up to go to through the normal DX driver, so it's not using the ASIO driver. Um, because for whatever reason the stream OBS doesn't work with it. Um, but regardless, let's go ahead and get started. In here just to show that I have nothing on the sequencer here. And I kind of was already playing with a bit of a chord progression earlier. That I kind of want to use in this one. I'm actually just gonna draw it in just because I kind of already know what I want for it. As in terms of the sounds, I'll go ahead and develop that along with you guys so that we can know what's going on. So let's get this started here. So draw these really quick. So essentially, it's gonna be in an A minor scale. Um, what I'm gonna be working with. Correction. Okay. Yep. Uh. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one. It's a very simple chord progression. It's just gonna be an A minor like I said, A minor scale. So you're gonna see a lot of. So let's um and and right now I'll go ahead and go through some of this. Just like right now, just trying to draw it in, just because I already, like I said, I already know what I was trying to work with. So let me. All right, it's just like I have it going through my Europa, the Europa number 2, which is my synth rhythmic synth lead, and right now it's just a simple sine wave. I just want to show what the chord progression is for tonight. All right, there we go. And like I said, I have it set up here. What I'm gonna want to go ahead and do is actually want to create this into more of a pad. So as the notes are playing in the background, I'm gonna go ahead and just increase the attack here by a couple, half a second. For the decay because I don't need it. I'm gonna add about a half a second of delay or decay as well. So it can just swell from one note to the other. All right, so that's, you can already hear the effect. So it's instead of it cutting at every note, it's like swelling into the notes themselves. And just want to do that just because it adds more ambiance. Kind of change this into a. Give it a sub oscillator. All right, so what I went ahead and did was I added a sub oscillator, which is just a sine wave, where I added unison to it. And also added unison to this triangle wave that I created on the first oscillator, and also dropped the sine wave an octave, so it's just a sub oscillation. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna draw a quick pattern here. Alright, let's add some strings to this. Well, alright, let me just walk you through what I've done so far. So I've went ahead and added my a bass on here, my bass synth. And pretty much all it's doing is just filling in some of the low end. I'm also adding this this other sort of bass line that's the only thing it's really doing is just adding a layer of melody to it, because this one is not really doing anything like in terms of like melodic and like anything in regards to like the song. The only thing it's doing is just kind of droning out some of the low notes, and then just just adding some more in the low end. Probably what I'll end up doing is that I'll have like the kick drum kind of be synced up with this one. Like, kind of. Alright, so I want to add some strings to this. I'm gonna add some from restring here. Some kind of phasey. Let me lower them. Let me add a different set of strings here. All right, what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna add a quick arpeggiator to this. Go ahead and created another instance of Europa here. I'm gonna have a sawtooth wave with no attack and no decay, and sustain all the way up, and then just a half a second of release. I can get like a plucky sound. I'm also running it through a filter. So I'm running it through a filter here, so it's cutting off all the higher frequencies. And then what I have it done is that I'm modulating the frequency filter with this envelope here. So every time like I press a key, then this envelope will go about its way, and it will also modulate the frequency, which will open it up and then close it really quickly. So if you see here, it's a exponential wave going down. So exponential, a graph going down. And what it's doing is just adding a plug. So if I remove the has some of that harshness, I'm controlling that. And I'm gonna add an arpeggiator to this, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy this here as well. I'm gonna solo this for now. All right, so right now I'm gonna export some of uh, the MIDI notes to the sequencer here. Also gonna do that with the drum. All right, there might have been some frame drops on that, but it's okay. All right, so let's get this going here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I went ahead and added another instrument. I'm gonna do the piano. Hmm. Alrighty. I don't know. So I think I have most of the instruments that I want already in place. What I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna rearrange it so that I can actually have kind of a track already ready. Um, went ahead and did some of this earlier, so that way. But essentially, if you don't know what I've done here, is that I've exported the loop that I made on the drum sequencer, and exported it out to MIDI file to MIDI notes. And essentially, this is what the MIDI notes are. So if I solo this, it's the drum kit. Um, and right now, I have very minimal effects going onto it. So I have I have a hi hat that has a reverb on it, and also has a delay on it. So it just kind of sounds like it's being hit twice, double time. So it sounds like it's a 16th note hit. It's just an effect that just kind of adds a bit more swing to it. If I just follow that, if I take off the just very robotic, and then just adding the delay, it sounds like a 16th note hit, but it kind of sounds a little off, like as you normally would play on the drums. Like it's not perfectly in sync, but it's still kind of like in that rhythm. Also added a reverb to it just to give it a bit more width. Um, I've done the same thing with the snare. I've added a bit of reverb on it just to give it a bit more width, just to let it air a little bit more, just with a bit more shimmer. All right, so let's rearrange this as I normally try with an intro here, and I think what I'm gonna do channels first, um, along with the pad that I create first. So I'm gonna add a reverse crash onto here. Add some reverb and stuff to that. A lot of reverb. Delay. That. And so for the main verse, let me see what I want to have on it. I definitely want to have this pad. I want to have the bass go. I don't want to have the piano at the very beginning. I'll probably have that be at the second half of the verse. This one's gonna be this ARP is gonna be on the chorus or the hook. Probably gonna have the violins come in at this point, and copy this over. Put in. I'm gonna add a tambourine to this, but I'm after second part. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right, I think that's it for the most part in terms of like the composition of the song. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is gonna walk you through what I've done so far since the last time I actually spoke. Um, so the last time I said anything, I was adding I had added this arpeggiator, which is what you'll hear on the chorus line. So, and that's what this is. And again, like was I added some automation to it and modified. I'm automating the mod wheel here. So as the mod wheel goes up, it opens up the frequency of this filter. So then it just allows for more of the higher end stuff to come through. And then it closes quickly back up. Um, so I've also added the piano, which I just have a simple rhythmic melody going on, or progression. And I have the sustain automated here. So every time like you switch from one chord to another, it opens and closes the sustain. And like I said, not a lot going on in that regard. It's just something just to add to the background of it all. And as far as other instruments, I don't think that's it. I think that's really it. The only other thing that I did was also added some automation to this bass line that I have here, or this funky lead here. Oh, cause um and yeah, it's nothing crazy. This one actually it's very much more subdued than the other one. Um, and as far as the other instrumentations goes, I have a set of strings here, the synth strings. This is a preset on a plugin that I've purchased on Reason's storefront. Um, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail into that. Just a preset. Same with this other set of strings. This is a preset from one of the built-in samplers on Reason and NXT. And yeah, it's just you know just some strings that sound really nice. Um, and yeah, as far as it goes, I really didn't do anything else. I added a tambourine, very simple, basic stuff, and I have it panned to more towards the right side of the audio than the left. I like to mix all this stuff in mono, so you probably heard me go into mono and out of mono quite a few times. Um, and as far as anything else goes, I didn't do a whole lot. I'll probably still change some of the drums for it. And I also added some automation uh for the hi-hats here. So even though like there's MIDI notes for it, there's nothing playing. Not until you see. Probably would help if I put the volume up. So there's not much going on in here in terms of like crazy stuff going on. It's just like the hi-hats are coming in. Oh, it's because sorry, distracted. Um, then now you should be able to hear it, and you'll hear the kick drum come in, and now you start hearing like the the hi-hats swell into existence. And I have the same effect going on over here on the break, which is I've eliminated pretty much everything from the drums and tambourines and the low end. I got rid of the bass lines. I only have like the pads going and the piano going, and then the same thing with the hi-hat. I have it coming in like they're almost 3/4 of the way in. And it serves like as a transition to the next half of the verse. And again, I have the hook repeated a couple times, and what I have here, I have the filters opened up all the way for both this arpeggiated lead and the bass lead. Instead of having to swell back up into the higher frequency, they stay in there, and it just works as more of a natural. Yeah, and that's basically what I've done so far. It hasn't been too crazy of a thing. I've also added my tag here. And it just, yeah, really just like adding. It's like one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. About 9 instruments, really. Um, and each kind of coming in and going out in like different portions of the song. So, I do have a couple of mainstays going throughout. So I have this going throughout the entirety of the song. That's going throughout the entirety of the song, and I don't think I'm gonna add anything else to this right now. It's just kind of like a proof of concept in terms of like what I kind of want to have situated. And I think that was gonna be it for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Um, with Serenity. Um, and yeah, so for what so I'll just go ahead and leave it there for that. I'll probably upload this song later onto YouTube. I mean, you'll see the VOD later for this whole stream on YouTube, and you'll still be on Twitch for a couple days. Um, so yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed, whoever tuned in, and yeah, if you hopefully you guys learned something. If not, then hopefully at least you guys enjoyed what was going on. I did kind of speed through some of like um audio engineering portion of it all. Essentially like the sound design of it. Mostly because they're very basic stuff that I made. So just simple, very simple subtractive leads, synth leads and stuff like that. So if you have any any experience with soft synths, or even with regular synthesizers like actual physical synthesizers, if you are into subtractive which is what most synthesizers are based off of, like the Moog stuff and like the Prophet stuff and like the Juno stuff. um this will work well. I mean, you can transfer from one to the other. um and yeah, not too crazy of things going on. I did use a couple presets and a couple of the presets that I've made previously. um so yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. And once again, I always try to leave this off with like a thing. So I mean, hopefully, you guys are into music, and if you would really want to pursue it, just get started. Get started. Even with like the simplest of things. If it's just like an app on the phone, or even if you use like a free DAW like Ableton Live Lite, or Pro Tools, like beginner portion, or anything like that. Even I think Fruit Loops like the demo or whatever. Just start off with there, and if you like it and if you really want to get into it, that's one way. There's always the other paths of actually learning how to play an instrument and then being part of a band. That's also a thing too. I want to incorporate some of that into my production at some point. Just not that at the moment. I need to I need to let myself learn some more instrumentation. Um, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it. So have a good night, guys, and see you guys next time. All right, bye.